Welcome back. My next guest here on Central Valley Talk is Robert Howk from the California Senior Legislature. I'll bet a lot of you didn't realize that there was a senior legislature, is a senior legislature. It's a volunteer body, and they work for senior issues, right, Robert?
That's correct. They've been doing that for 35 years. The original legislation enacting the California Senior Legislature was sponsored by Henry Mello out of my old hometown over there in Santa Cruz. And he sponsored it. Speaking with Jim Costa at a submarine veterans group that I belong to, and Jim said he had a hand in helping get that through as well. It's senior issues we're the unseen area of population. Most seniors don't get out around a lot. A lot of issues that affect them don't affect other people. And so every year we meet, we propose. Our top 10 proposals go out for the state legislature, go out to the state legislature, hoping we'll get sponsors for it. And we also send 4 to the federal representatives from our state.
You have the 10 with you right now?
Yes, I do.
Run through some of those.
Okay. The number one, the senior legislature this year was prescription labeling. Now, having had heart surgery back in September, I came home with a bucket of prescriptions. Had no idea what most of them were for. They just tell me what it is,
right?
How many times I'm supposed to take it a day. Well, it helps if on that label it was for heart condition, pain, or whatever, so that if somebody's coming to help you, they know what to get you if you need a medication. It's a key issue. I've talked to our pharmacists. The pharmacy industry actually supports this as well. But a lot of people are getting medications. They don't know what it's for. They've also sponsored proposed a law to the state to allow corporations to donate to us. Right now, corporations are not donating to us. And we function entirely off of donation. We get no state monies whatsoever. As the 540 e-files have gone up, the contributions have gone down because people don't scroll down and check that box and give money to the California Senior Legislature.
On your tax form, there is a place
Yes.
where you can donate.
Yes, there
to
is.
the legislature. Yeah.
There's another proposal they had. There is a system called Silver Alert, much like the Amber Alert. You see a lot of times senior citizens, especially those with dementia, will wander away. There is actually a Silver Alert program that was due to sunset. That's been picked up and sponsored and is going through the state legislative process right now to continue that. The biggest one that came out of our last session was the Death with Dignity Act. The seniors have sponsored that. I personally support it. I work in elder law. I've seen a number of family members die, some of them horrific deaths, but cancer slowly choked them and literally starved them and suffocated them. And it's not for everybody. I understand the moral convictions of it, as I'm sure you do and a lot of the audience does. I also understand the personal preferences. It should be an option that's out there for people. Right now we're having people go up to Oregon, and I've had clients ask me, can I go to Oregon if this happens, and use their Death with Dignity Act up there? And I've checked with one of my friends up there, Eden Rose Brown, is an excellent attorney up in Oregon, and she said, yes, you can come up.
We just had the California woman with the brain tumor
move
up there and took her own life. She knew she had a limited time left.
Yes, and for some of the thing that concerned me, and it's addressed in this proposal, was as an elder law attorney, I've seen people use powers of attorney for health care to kill people. They decided they wanted to inherit early. They weren't going to wait for mom or dad to hang around and nature take its course. And so they start withholding food and water. They can't use a power of attorney with the Death with Dignity Act. It has to be that person.
Right.
They have to be cognizant of what they're doing. The doctors have to sign off on it, and that's going to be a hard thing. A lot of doctors are opposed to that. Their ethical obligations are first, do no harm. And that kind of flies in the face of that whole do no harm issue. But
forcing someone to live in extreme pain
is harm.
When there's little hope of recovery, I think that's more cruel.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Couple more. And then
couple more.
Yeah.
Right now, there's no dementia training for healthcare workers, and a lot of people come in.
There's no dementia training?
No, not
really?
mandated. Some of them may get it, but it's not a mandated thing. And I personally have carried on. Dementia comes in 4 stages. One, you're probably cognizant of what you're doing most of the time. You may sunset, as they call it, as the day wears on. You may get more and more out of touch with what's going on. stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Well, stage 4 is the end. Dementia will eventually take your life. I've worked with people and had a client in the office whose mom had stage 4 dementia. She carried on a 5-minute conversation with me, and had I not known, I would have just suspected that she was kind of reserved and a little bit off, but she had standard pat answers. If you ask her when it was hot outside, her answer was always, well, it's Fresno weather. You could tell her it was snowing outside, and the answer would be, it's Fresno weather. It's a way of coping with it. So they want to get dementia training. They also want to have fall risk screening. A lot of seniors, when you turn that magic 65, as I did 5 years ago, you get this free physical on your Medicare. There's no fall screening with it. You want to screen, because if you look at the statistics for people coming into emergency rooms by age brackets, when they're younger, it's the typical childhood things. They get older, it gets to be gunshots, auto accidents, and things like that. When they hit 65, that go off the chart with falls. Falls is the primary reason seniors end up in a hospital. They also wanted to increase the penalty, make it mandatory for identity theft. Right now, identity theft, if they steal your identity, my identity, anybody's identity, it can be what they used to call, when I was in law enforcement, was a wobbler. It could either be a misdemeanor or a felony. You're always arrested on a felony, let the DA plead it down. They want to make that a felony for seniors who have their ID stolen. It's a very logical, it may not occur to a lot of people. If you take somebody that's out here in the audience, they're 25, they get their identity stolen, they've got a long time to make that up in their lifetime. You steal it from a person who's 80, and it's devastating. And the stress of it can shorten their lives. So they want to make that a mandatory felony.
Well, I think all those things you're asking the legislature to consider sound pretty reasonable.
And most of them have no financial impact on the state legislature finances at all.
Okay. So how can folks find out more about the California Senior Legislature?
There is a website. It's www.4csl.org. That's the California Senior Legislature website. I hesitate to give mine out for this, but I am here for this area, represent this area. You can reach me at Robert@Howk, HOWK, -Downing, DOWNING.com. That's my office email. I'm not going to promise you I'm going to get back to you immediately, but I will get back to you.
You're a busy guy.
And I've had some people call up and do it. Because like I said, I still, in theory, work 3 days a week. So I do have some office demands. I've got 3 court cases, and I tried yesterday to shut one down, and the judge put me off for another 30 days. So I've got one more that's out, and there's the one that trails that too, and so it pushed everything out. But I'm kind of looking forward to cutting back more myself. But the senior legislature is a very good cause. A lot of people there do a lot of work. And again, all these people are all volunteers. There's no state money except for the donations that come in.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention today.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Robert Howk from the California Senior Legislature, right here on Central Valley Talk.